Welcome to the She's So Sweet podcast, where we interview accomplished women who have worked their way to the C-suite. I'm your host, Kristi Faltorusso, Chief Customer Officer and award-winning customer success executive. I am so thrilled to introduce today's guest, Steph Reck, Chief Revenue Officer at Japhy AI. Hey, Steph, welcome to the show.
Hi, Kristi. Thanks so much for having me today.
So when you reflect back on your journey, starting as your sales coordinator in hospitality, what were the pivotal moments or decisions that really helped contribute to your ascent to the C-suite?
You know, I had a sales manager that I worked for who just, I guess she was very alluring to me. She dressed well. She had a level of gravitas about her. And I wanted to be that. I wanted to be able to walk into a room and have people immediately respect the insight and the knowledge that I brought to the table. So I leaned into that a little bit, and I wish that I'd had an opportunity to have more mentors like her. It wasn't until, maybe 4 or 5 years later that I had another female mentor who was a senior director within another firm that I worked for, who said, don't let anybody get in your way. Be the uncomfortable person at the table. And I'm paraphrasing, but she made it okay for me to ask questions and not just sit there and be a people pleaser and be agreeable, which was also all the learned behaviors that we had back in the 70s and 80s, right?
I mean, sadly, I still think that those are still learned behaviors. A lot of us are trying to unlearn today,
Correct.
right? Like how many times do you see people just be quiet in a room? Usually, especially if we're in tech, right? Like rooms filled with men. You never hear the men sitting back and being quiet, but you will see a passive woman taking notes and just listening intently when you know that their head is just busting with ideas. So I love that was something that you got exposure to early in your career.
Yeah. I also, on the flip side of that, received comments that if I could watch what came out of my mouth, I would be much more successful in my career. That came from a man. I had other situations coming in from male leaders who would tell me things like, you know, you come across a little abrasive. But because I had someone like Sandy who said, make them uncomfortable. Somebody who follows the rules doesn't end first in the race. I was able to learn to stand up for myself. Now, it took a while because for a long time, I just thought, well, if I did a really good job, it would be noticed. And it wasn't. I didn't get the promotions. I didn't get the raises unless I left my company and went to another company. That was the way I was going to get a raise or a promotion. And I didn't love that. I much prefer to stay with a company longer term and make a longer term impact in an organization. Part of that is because I love people development. So I had to sit back and say, okay, I can sit here and be agreeable and watch our company take the wrong steps and not grow at the rate I know we're capable of growing and not take advantage of the opportunities in front of us. Or I can make people a little bit uncomfortable and ask the tough questions. And if they want to come along, great. If not, then my value has outlived its lifespan at this company. And that happened a couple of times. And there's a bit of remorse that we have, I think, if we truly believed in the opportunity at an organization or the value of the people at the company. And it's hard to walk away from that, right? We tend to get into that sunk cost situation where I put in all this time and this effort and I really want to see this go through. But at the end of the day, a lot of companies see us as a number. And I don't care what position you hold in a company, you're still a number. And our tenure at the C-suite level is right now about 18 months. So we have a very short period of time to make impact at a company, help pivot culture if needed, really help set the company up for future success versus in previous levels at orgs, I was able to stay there for 5 and 6 years. I would love to, in 7 years at some of them, I would love to get back to that. And I would love for people at the C-suite to be able to have that longevity at companies as well, and the stability at companies. And I don't think that a lot of people who are looking to just climb the ladder understand the level of volatility the higher you get. I don't think it's talked about enough.
I don't think so either. So can we talk about that?
Sure.
All right.